With CFL preseason games right around the corner, we take a look at some position group battles that draw our attention. Farhan, you're starting off in Edmonton. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, there was supposed to be a quarterback battle between Taylor Cornelius and Trey Ford. It hasn't really turned out that way based on just the repetitions both men have received and just how good Cornelius has looked. Everybody around has been absolutely blown away with the progression that he showed in now his third year. He's spreading the ball around. He's got velocity. He's got accuracy, and he's running the ball when needed very effectively. As far as the receivers go, we knew this was going to be an explosive group based on all their additions. You've got the young up-and-comer Dylan Mitchell with Geno Lewis on the boundary side. No lack of confidence for Mitchell, who says he's going to go for 2,000 yards this season. Then on the other side, it's Manny Arsenault expected to get the start ahead of Kyron Moore. You've got Stephen Dunbar also in there, and then either Vincent Forbes-Montblanc or Gavin Cobb, two young Canadians, will occupy the field side Z spot. So some minor competitions, but right now I think we know what that offense in Edmonton is going to look like.
The Ottawa Redblacks have a whole bunch of receivers at training camp. We know Jalen Acklin is going to be their number one target as an American. Nate Bahar, their number one target as a Canadian. But it looks like they're going to play four American receivers, and that's where it could get interesting. You've got a player like Quan Bray, who's had success in Montreal, looking to bounce back. Shaq Evans, looking to bounce back from Saskatchewan. And the player that not a lot of people are talking about, but maybe we should be, Justin Hardy, the former NFLer who spent time with the Atlanta Falcons. Look at the end of the season last year in his the final four games of the Red Blacks, when people weren't paying a lot of attention. He had 30 receptions in those four games. The expectation is he will be a big part of this offense. Eventually, they'll get Braylon Addison into the mix as well. So lots of competition, not only just in training camp, but once the season gets on, because everyone knows they'll have to make room for Braylon Addison at some point during the season coming over from Hamilton.
And in BC, all eyes are in the offensive backfield to see who's going to replace James Butler, who had a breakout season a year ago. And it probably comes down to two candidates. You've got Antonio Williams and Taquan Mizell. Now, Williams is more of a Butler type of back. He's 215 pounds. He's 5'11", and he does all aspects of the game quite well. He's got some NFL miles on him, and they really believe that's the safer pick. But as far as Mizell is concerned, he's the home run hitter, 5'11", 185 pounds, more of a scat back type. When he touches the ball, he could really make some things happen. But can he handle the physical aspects of the game? So they're going to need to take a close look at him in the preseason, see if he can take a hit, see if he can handle the blocking that's required in all of this. But if he can, he's a pretty intriguing option and hard to turn away from.
The Calgary Stampeders doing a bit of a reset with their Canadian receivers. Jalen Philpott with an injury that's going to take him out for a good chunk of the season. Richardson Danny moved on to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And it's a young group, but it's a very raw group. You look at maybe the two with the brightest upside, Cole Tucker, the receiver they took this year in the draft, Ryson John, who's spent some time in the National Football League. These are two Canadian receivers. Neither of them have ever played a down of three-down football in their lives. Tucker growing up in the United States with Canadian heritage, Ryson John playing at Simon Fraser, where he played NCAA football and, of course, four-down football in BC before that. So not likely that either of those guys are going to be ready to start early in the season. They've got Colton Hunchak as kind of the super sub, and they'll be relying on a couple of returnees to take a step forward. One of them, Luther Hukanavanu, who's had some success in limited duty with the Stamps thus far, and the other, Tyson Middlemost, a player they drafted out of McMaster, really seeing him as just a special teams role, but he's shown them some things in practice. They think he may be ready to step up into a Canadian receiver role as well, as they make some shuffling and really wait for this group to sort of mature and sort itself out over the course of the season.